Hi, it's Joy and thank you for watching Only Murders in the Building, Season 2, Episode 5, The Tell. I am so excited to keep going with this show. A reminder that if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the unedited version of this reaction and all of my reactions to this show on my Patreon. And let's go.
My dad in the 1970s. There was no better time.
I admit it, I did. How come you always know?
Well, because everyone who has a secret has a tell.
Oof, including murderers, real murderers.
Teddy, you were the killer.
That's gonna haunt you in a few years.
All you have to do is not know what you're hiding.
Interesting. What does that mean?
I'm worried about us, Charles. Are we okay?
Are you insane? I want to know who killed Bunny. And I thought you, as a maniac, might have some insight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys are really struggling this season, aren't you? Truthfully, I'm behind on your podcast. It's just like how we used to go back and forth about the last case.
Because you were the murderer and you tried to kill him.
You committed?
We found our sweet spot,
Well, you tried to kill him?
finding ways to stay close to their work. Is someone staying close to you? Does someone have a new friend?
Mabel does, an artist friend. But it's too soon in the season.
Not raining inside where you are. Very sexy.
They want us to think it's her, so it's not.
You have any ideas?
She does seem really suspicious, but it's way too soon, isn't it? The diner that Bunny was at.
Good guys, flash.
Showmanship and desperation.
What secret are you hiding from your dad that you don't know you're hiding from your dad?
That's gonna show up in the ancestry.
What's the difference between hearing something and remembering hearing something?
Well, Charles, memory can contain both objective reality and subjective perception.
Plus you can imagine a memory.
Remember being a
Or catch up.
Was on the matchbook and the secret passageways.
what?
Secret passageways.
Can't hear what you say.
The fucking secret passageways.
Sorry, did you just say that the killer is an artist crawling throughout?
Oh my god!
That's big.
We're not prepared to confirm any theory at this particular juncture.
It could be one of them.
We have no theories, Charles.
They have to get close to do that. So is anyone new trying to get close to us?
Yes, Mabel. We have to consider it. I don't think it's her, but because it's too soon, I was concerned.
What? This isn't that an intimidatingly cool English girl. I've been on a few dates with.
Dates, like... Oh,
Oh, look at the wheels turn slowly.
Finally, some story progress.
Do that episode about the shit-talking bird.
Maker board president. And hold on, Charles, were you not in
Here we go.
that Swedish movie with that tempestuous throuple that go camping and torture each other with orgasms?
you saw Encounter out of Solid?
Oh my god.
Fabulously, by the way.
She's fantastic. She didn't...
So some strange... I'll be right back.
You can't leave me here. Good.
Is he going to get his Son of Sam cards?
It's a hot, sweaty summer night, and there's a madman.
I mean, I do like games like Werewolf, but...
The game is sunset. Now,
Oh my god. They... The costumes are ridiculous.
our innocent blondes.
I used to play this game in Oxford, although we called it Jack the Ripper.
No, we're in New York in the 70s, Alice. Pay attention. You haven't even been born yet. Thinks it's Charles. Sorry, but you've been found guilty by a vigilante mob of Argentine lunatics.
You all have blood on your hands.
Well, you did the same thing when you mentioned going to Oxford.
I didn't.
Is this still a game?
You're not who you
Yeah.
Do you really befriend Mabel?
Okay, this has to stop.
Hey, pretzel boy, you want to help me out here?
Mm-hmm. Because he's accusing her of being a murderer.
I know it seems crazy, but...
She is. She's lying to you and everyone else here tonight, aren't you?
No.
Admit it.
You didn't need to do this at a party like this.
Swedish porno film.
She was a blonde.
I thought for sure she did it.
You screwed up.
Parties. I'm out.
Like, yes, I do potentially think we needed to investigate her because It happened once, it could happen again. This was not the way to do it in front of all these people that mattered to her. Interesting. That was the tip, right?
Well, I am mad. At Charles and Oliver too, but especially you. You lied to me, and I'm not leaving here until you tell me why. It's all too
I don't think she's the murderer. If she is, she's a very good liar.
Everyone lies a little. Hey. Some are half-truths.
I just hope she really is a good thing for Mabel.
You wanted me to stop, you just hang up.
Hang up.
I heard. Look, is there anything about Bunny?
The day before her murder, there was a friend at dinner with her.
Days that were different.
Do we have the camera of who she met?
I'm talking about those blueberry bagels we had. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Charles, this isn't healthy.
First, very good sex partners. Jan.
Time's up.
Jan?
This isn't healthy.
Too brainy to make out any physical.
You could walk them, see them when they arrived. They had to walk in.
Maybe it makes you feel needed.
Thank you for the bagels.
Was that saying Mabel was son of Sam, or that she was and she stole another card?
Maybe it makes. Sometimes it doesn't do any of that.
You needed to see the person walking in.
Sometimes it just makes you.
About the predisposition to prostate cancer, Dr. Kipper said it's no big deal. You just put your finger up.
Oh, is he not his dad?
Someone you're fond of.
No. The other half was all Greek. That's not possible, is it?
Oh. You need to do an DNA test right now.
What, you have another secret?
Oh. He's still your son in every way that counts. Okay, so I don't think Alice is the killer. I feel like she's been too obvious in general because last season the killer was a girlfriend, like, who showed up kind of after the fact. So I didn't think Alice was the killer, but I also thought Alice was suspicious, so I'm kind of glad that we had an episode focusing on her because we needed to just get that one out of the way. And yeah, she definitely was too good to be true in a lot of ways, but when you kind of find out what she's lying, or lying doesn't always have to be the end of the world or terrible. So I just really hope she is going to be something good for Mabel going forward, because Mabel deserves something good. Mabel deserves everything good. And it just could be a really lovely fresh start for Mabel, free of all of this murder and everything. And yeah, confronting her at a party with all of her friends and like colleagues or whatever, not the best move. We should have, you know, come up with a way to talk about it with her elsewhere if you really had to make sure. And, you know, you could even say we're doing this out of concern for Mabel because we've been burnt before. So I'm glad that's out in the open. Then obviously there was the thing of who was the friend coming to meet her, and given that at the beginning the son's voiceover was like, oh, there's a secret that you don't even know you're keeping, I was worried that it was going to be him. I now don't think that. But so the footage is very grainy. I still don't know how much you'd make out, but the person had to walk into the restaurant in order to sit down at the table with Bunny. So I don't entirely know why we didn't rewind to when the person arrived. Maybe that when they arrived they were looking out the window or they were looking away or something, and so that there was no way to tell. But it's definitely all linked with the person that Bunny was having that meal with, that she wasn't very happy with. So it's interesting, and I'm very excited to continue to unravel everything. I'm glad that kind of they're beginning to get the same information we have, although they still don't know that Lucy heard, was in the tunnels and heard the killer. That's kind of the one thing I feel like we know that they don't know currently. I don't think it's healthy that Charles is still seeing his bassoonist. Yeah, visiting her in prison and talking to her on the phone. I can understand she's crazy, maybe she's a psychopath, she might know more about things, and using her in the same way that like sometimes like criminal minds, or, you know, I don't mean criminal, like investigators might talk to a criminal in order to get information on how the criminal mind works, etc. But I also think it's particularly dangerous that he is the one doing it, because he was falling in love with her, and she did try to kill him, and as much as I don't think he's going to forget that all the way and she's in prison and can't hurt him, I just think it's going to bring up a lot of not good emotions, and it's not very healthy, and we know he's dealing with me feeling a bit lonely and that she helped him not feel lonely, and so I feel like he needs a clean break from her, not whatever this is. But maybe in the long run it'll be healing for him, I don't know. And then at the end it seems quite likely that, you know, if not definite, that Teddy Demas is actually William, that's his name, right, his father, and that Oliver has been lied to isn't the whole of his son's life. But it doesn't change that that's his son. It doesn't change the years of parenting they spent together, because it was clear from that look that Teddy and the wife knew that there was at least a very good chance that it wasn't Oliver's kid biologically. So that being said, he could have claimed paternity way back when, but instead he hid and he wasn't there. And one of them would tuck him in at night and tell him about his tells and was a dad to him. Even if he hasn't always been a perfect dad, he was his dad and he is his dad. If I was Oliver, I would immediately be doing a DNA test myself on the off chance that the weird like blip happened, like, you know, maybe his mother had an affair. You know, like, you don't know. It doesn't necessarily mean it is you, but it does seem extremely likely right now. And it is heartbreaking. The honest truth with these ancestry DNA tests is, you know, you read so many stories of like people who bought their family ancestry DNA tests for their birthday or for Christmas, and then like the mom starts crying and the parents have a row in the bedroom, and, you know, like there are lots of stories like that. Unfortunately, when I did mine, my dad is my dad. Very disappointing. But it's a lot for Oliver to process, and I hope he talks about it with Charles and Mabel, given that they seem to be his only real friends, and it doesn't kind of go through this alone. And I also hope it doesn't hinder the relationship with his son. I mean, his son coming here must have known it was probably going to mean, if his dad is confident that he's Irish descendant, somehow 100% Irish descendant, then it can't be him. But he also needs to do the DNA test as well to prove that there wasn't a mistake somewhere else along the way. So yeah, this episode had a lot of revelations. It had some positive ones in the sense that I hopefully feel like we can move Alice off the board. There's obviously a small part of my brain that is concerned that like we're moving her out of the suspect pool because but this is actually a red herring removal, and so she's really going to be in it. I think that would be too repetitive after last season, but maybe that's why they would do it, because we wouldn't expect it. I'm worried for Oliver, and I love this episode. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction, all of my reactions, on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.